we got a big fight on our hands. This next battle is gonna be so cool. Like I can't wait to see how this goes. We got a clash of the elements. Gonna have fire versus earth. This is gonna be hype. This is gonna be hype, especially the fact that Dogremag is looking big in his human form. The dude's probably like 8 or 9 feet, if not bigger. I feel like he's taller than Mimi. Like legit, like Mimi was big, even in comparison to most people. Like generally, like there aren't as many of those giant-bodied characters in the series, so like getting some of them is pretty, it's a rare sight. It's something that we, like I said, we don't really get often whenever we're introduced to characters like Mishima. Generally, even like bigger, buffer characters, we get to people like Laxus and Elfman, which is like pretty, pretty much that kind of bigger. But when we look at like Taurus, be probably like almost half the height of Mimi, she's big. So like I think that we're gonna get at least, if not bigger, the size of that for Dogremag. He just looks like a big dude. And when we have Natsu against what's gonna be like, a giant just brawling earth dragon man, it's gonna look so badass. So couple things. One, I expect this next chapter to obviously have focus on Natsu and Dogremag. I'm hoping for at least half the chapter, if not most of the chapter, is going to be focused on their fight. We have to get to Kirin and Laxus. I think that fight needs to happen before this fight wraps up. Kind of like how the Selene and Suzaku fight started. We got a little bit of that, and then we rolled into some of the other matches. Right now, the only other one we have is Laxus versus Kirin. I'm really hoping that Skolnion and Madmole or Misaki could get up because, one, Madmole and Skolnion should get some fights, and two, Misaki, even though Misaki got caught, she was being dumb, underestimating Urza, but I think that if she gets back up and then, maybe learns from her mistakes and decides to push forward, and we can actually find out more about her character, we can get more sides to her, and her not just being some sadistical kind of really OP crazy person. So fingers crossed to that. But for now, I think the biggest thing that we're gonna get is this fight. This is gonna obviously be what people are super hyped for. There's gonna be some people, maybe they're more hyped for Kirin versus Laxus, but the thing is, obviously I want to see Natsu fight. Natsu's my MC. I want to see him go out there and do stuff. But the one that I obviously want to see the most is Dogremag. I've always thought that Earth characters are really underutilized in a lot of mainstream shonens. There's usually not that many rock manipulating people, just because it's probably one of the least cool elements, I think, for most people. If you took the 4 basic elements to fire, wind, water, and air. Wait, did I mess it up? Fire, wind, water. Fire, wind, earth, and water. You're gonna get. Did I mess it up right? And let me double check. Fire, wind, water, earth. Okay. You're gonna get earth probably is the least cool. I think they've actually ran polls and stuff like that for years. So it's earth is usually ranked last, but it's you gotta have the right character for earth. Not everybody's gonna get a Toph Beifong where it's some blind young girl is busting at people's asses with rock. Characters like this is generally what you would hope for a rock character. Just some big, jacked, badass looking guy who's gonna be slamming fists made of stone. I'm hoping he does stuff does some Hulk shit where he instead of a car, but he takes a bunch of rock and condenses it into some gauntlets, and he's just gonna want to box Natsu up. I'm hoping also to see some stuff from Natsu where he's melting the area around him. I assume that what he's going to be using is still the same material from the Labyrinth, and we know that the stuff from the Labyrinth is way more durable, and it's going to be way harder for Natsu to destroy than him just melting a random rock. So for Dogremag, I'm really hoping he starts busting out some cool moves. I really want to see him. Probably one of the ones that I would love to see most of all, basic but really cool. It's imagine he punches, Natsu blocks, and it's one of those things where it's he has to put effort into it. He manages to block. Maybe we have then at that point, still in that clash, you have Dogremag go for his other arm, free arm smash, and it's just obviously putting some weight on Natsu. He's still holding off, and then you see behind Dogremag maybe this giant rock fist rise up and go and punch Natsu there and just drive him in the ground like a nail. Like there's gonna be a lot of really cool visuals because like earth manipulation can give a lot of badass things to look at, and especially if we get like some crazy things. I want to see him like mess with tectonic plates and like legitimately just pick up a mountain and smack Natsu in the face with it or something. I just want to see him just do lots of crazy fun things with earth. I want to see him just do stuff that's gonna be a spectacle to like look at and just be like, wow, it looks crazy. That's just, you know, the dragon god doing what dragon gods do. But it's, I don't think the fight itself is gonna you know, obviously be wrapped up or really concluded by then. You know, this seems, I would assume, be the big match of the arc. I don't know anybody who's gonna be bigger unless this is kind of more of something just to build up while Ignia goes and does whatever else he's doing. Because otherwise, it's like, did Ignia leave? Are they gonna have to track Ignia down? You know, figure out what his plan is. I assume that Ignia, you know, went home and they're gonna actually like enact their plan and not just like he's flying over like a couple miles to lay down and then like set stuff up. Like I figure like he's probably going back to, you know, either his home or, you know, some form of base of operations maybe that him and that Dogromag have. Maybe they have their own kind of like joint hideout where both of them, when, you know, used to kind of like meet up and hang out and chat about whatever their plan is, apparently, with bringing back the dragons in some way, shape, or form. But man, it's something right now that I feel like it's very clear with, like, you know, the battle and whatnot where it's gonna go as soon as it picks back up. But it's like certain things that he's gonna do that within that fight are gonna make me more interested. Is he gonna just directly attack with earth? Is he gonna use it more as like an additional thing to his melee attacks? Is he going to just be throwing torrents and absolute tsunamis of rock and stone over at Natsu and like while kind of like doing some crazy stuff? I think it'd be really cool if we got something kind of like Agil's whole like big death tidal wave of sand, this big sand tsunami of death, and it's like you have this giant maybe bunch of like mountain-sized rocks, so just insane, that are like, it seems like that's the focus. Like imagine a bunch of mountains or something coming around to like constrict Natsu, and it's like that's not a problem for him, but it's a distraction. And then you see Dogromag run through it like, you know, fucking football players running through a banner, and just tackles Natsu freaking Broly style. Like if we get kind of like a more reckless brawler kind of setup, like a grappler for Dogromag, I think that'd be fantastic. But for now, I mean, for the most part, I think the focus of the chapter will be on this fight continuing, you know, where chapter 109 left off, and maybe peer over what's going on with Laxus versus Kirin. Maybe we'll find out some of the other characters and their statuses, but the biggest focus I think that everybody wants is what's going on with Natsu and Dogromag. So, you know, 2 weeks, well, I guess it's not, it's Thursday, almost, no, it's Friday now. Yeah, I forgot it's you know, just past midnight recently. Where's that? So now we have the fact that he is going to be battling him within the next 12 days. We're going to be really seeing him bust out crazy moves and hopefully some just hand-to-hand bloody battles and brawls between two physical fighters that are going to just be throwing hands at each other, I assume, the whole time. Anyway, other than that, they'll comment below. Thumbs up the video, befriend the like, and subscribe, and check out my other videos. And I appreciate it. Subscribe, and thank you all for listening. Bye.